Here's lovely drawing of Sanji, who we finally get to see, and he does a little bit of ass kicking, and certainly is very nice to see him appear again and grace us with his presence. So hopefully you like this.
One Piece Chapter 127, Snail-o-phone.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and action-filled tale of One Piece. Our last chapter saw us finishing up our last volume, which was 14. So here we are, starting up volume 15. It actually looks pretty cool. We've got Dorry and Brogy on the cover over there, along with Luffy. And certainly, definitely a good one to start diving into so far that I have seen. So our last chapter left us off with Mr. 3 being defeated again, and we assume Karoo had chased down and took care of Miss Golden Week. Mr. 5, of course, had been taken out as well as Miss Valentine. So we ended off the chapter there, and Sanji, of course, had come upon Mr. 3's wax house. The way this chapter starts off, though, is we hear Brogy, and he's like going wow, wow, and it's just like pages of this, and you see all the Straw Hats going, Jesus, his tears are giant, and blah blah blah. And about 3 pages in, we finally see why he's wailing and crying. Apparently, Dorry is still alive. Dorry, who we thought had been, he had been defeated by Brogy, but we thought he had been killed, had not. In fact, he just passed out, basically, probably from the pain and loss of blood, and we find that out very quickly. And then they kind of come to the conclusion that over the 100 years that they've been fighting, even though their weapons of Elbaf are all powerful and everything else, they're not magical, they're not enchanted to where they don't ever wear down or take damage. So what we can kind of deduce from this is that 100 years of not taking care of their weapons is what Zoro kind of comes up with, that there's no way that they're going to strike a killing blow. You know, you're not going to slice right through somebody, I guess is the point that they're trying to come across with. Either way, doesn't matter. Dorry is alive, and Dorry and Brogy are reunited. It's very exciting for them, of course, and really because Dorry was, just absent the entire time, I thought that he was just done away with. He was killed. So definitely a cool thing, because I kind of like both the giants personally. They remind me of something from the movie Labyrinth. But anyway, that's a story for another time. So then we go in, and the meat of the chapter takes place with Sanji. We finally get to see Sanji a little bit more. He, of course, is back, and he has answered a call at the end of last volume from Mr. Zero, from Sir Crocodile, and that's actually how the volume had ended off, with him kind of answering that phone. And so the snail phone that he has, he's sitting there, and it's funny because the first couple pages he's kind of thinking, and he's like deducing everything in his head, and he's laying out everything, and he's going, oh, okay, well, so this must be the guy that's sent everybody after, Vivi, and it's going after it. And he's going on and on. He's like thinking, so this guy must be one of the warlords, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the whole time, Sir Crocodile on the other end is like, hey, are you there? I asked you a question. Are they taken care of? Did you kill the targets? So finally Sanji goes, and he's just like, yeah, all targets are killed, and everything's good over here. So he goes, and so Sir Crocodile goes and says on the other end, and it's kind of cool because they actually show this shot of him, and he's in shadows still, but he's sitting there at this table talking on his snail phone, and it's like kind of a panned out shot, and you see like this giant crocodile that looks like a prehistoric monster of the sea. It looks like it's 50 feet long. I don't know. So that's clearly his pet and a weapon of his, which is kind of cool. I just neat how that was drawn. But so he says, okay, you've accomplished your mission. I'm going to send the Unluckies then, and they have to to verify, and they, of course, they have something for you. They a package or what have you. And he's like, Unluckies, what? He's like, what package? And all of a sudden the Unluckies show up, right? Mr. 13 and Miss Friday. So they show up and come barreling in, and Sanji's still on the phone now, right? So he's got to play it off, and he's like, whoa, what are you doing here? What do you want? So this whole funny battle ensues over the course of the next few pages, where Vulture's coming at him, and he's kicking this one and grabbing this one, and Sir Crocodile's still on the other end of the line, like, hey, what's going on? What's that commotion? So he takes him out, and he gets back on the phone. And he goes, oh yeah, that was nothing. Sorry. Yeah, the Straw Hats were I guess they were still alive, and but I took care of them now. They're definitely taken care of now. Mission accomplished. And he goes, what do you mean the Straw Hats are still alive? You just reported to me that they're dead. And you see on the other end this flower that Sir Crocodile took out of the vase or whatever to stir his drink with. He goes and, like, when he hears that, he snaps it, you know, like to show his anger. And it's just comical because he's like, you told me that, you know, they were dead. And he goes, well, you know, I thought they were, and but they weren't, and I took care of them. And you can just see Sanji kind of fumbling. I can hear this all happening if it was a conversation that I was having with someone and I was on that end. I'd be fumbling around trying to go and backtrack. And so Sir Crocodile goes and he says, oh, so you gave me a false report then, huh? And he goes, no, not a false report. I was just, don't worry about it though. They're dead now. No need to send anybody else. We're good to go. We also find out that the gift that was to be brought, or the package that was to be brought by the Unluckies, is the Eternal Pose, which is fallen on the ground, and Sanji picks it up, and he's kind of like, oh, okay, wow. So this Eternal Pose points to Alabasta. Sir Crocodile goes and instructs him. He says, listen, take the Eternal Pose and head straight for Alabasta, and then await orders there. And he says, oh, okay, yeah, will do, Roger, what have you. Sir Crocodile winds up hanging up with him, right? So we're like, okay. Then it goes and it shows the room that Sir Crocodile's in, and he goes, Miss All Sunday. So we see Miss All Sunday again, right? She's my little cutie friend over there. I kind of think she was cool. I drew that picture of her as well, just 'cause I thought she was fun and unique looking. But anyway, he goes and he says, somewhere between Little Garden and Alabasta, have Mr. 2 dispose of Mr. 3. We don't need him anymore. And she's like, wow, geez, you're ruthless, you know. And because, you know, Sanji on the other end had said, he goes, don't worry, nobody knows of your identity, everything's taken care of with the Straw Hats. But Sir Crocodile is going to get rid of any trace of evidence that this was happening and just have no qualms about it. Nobody's going to know who he is, right? That's how he's thinking. So he goes and tells her to dispatch Mr. 2 to take out Mr. 3. And so we kind of see that whole exchange over there. So it is nice because we do get to see that, of course, Sanji has, has reappeared, which is good. He's got the Eternal Pose, so that's good because, clearly now we don't have to wait for a year for their log pose to reset on this particular island, and they can go straight to Alabasta, as opposed to having to make a couple more stops, which may have been the case otherwise. So very, very cool stuff over here. We wind up then going in and seeing, and again, like I said, you kind of see the crocodile a couple of times, Sir Crocodile's pet, I guess you'd call it, and that's kind of cool looking, so I kind of can't wait until we get to that, and maybe something that I do a drawing of. And then the chapter ends with, we go and we see a brief couple of panels, and we see, them saying, Captain Smoker, you can't believe the transmission we just intercepted. And Mr. Crocodile, or Sir Crocodile, had even made I meant to say Mr. Zero, he had even made mention of that when he was talking to Sanji, assuming he was Mr. 3. So this will be our last communication by Snail-o-phone. You'll be contacted in the future by the usual means. We don't want the Navy catching on to us. So the Navy has caught on to them, and they're on the Grand Line already, Captain Smoker, it looks like, in them. So that's how the chapter ends off. We see this kind of cool sea serpent, going in the water, and we see their ship of the Marines with Smoker and Tashigi and whatever group he brought with. So, and then I can only imagine that Buggy and Alvida can't be far behind. So, who knows when that's when that's going to wrap up and everything else. But now we have certainly several different things to kind of go here. So, my chapter question is, and it's not really even a chapter question, this is more of a, for anybody who enjoys the drawings that I put together, I, as characters pop up in the series, try to draw them if they're, important, or if they look cool, or if I have time, But let me know, brothers and sisters, what are some of the characters, and please no spoilers. Let's try to keep it to ones that are right, up till right now, or maybe within the next arc or two that I'll see get introduced very soon, so I can kind of put it on my list. But let me know in the comments down below what characters you would like to see me draw from One Piece, and certainly we can see, how we can make that happen. So that is my question for this particular chapter. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button, if you should think that I deserve it. And then, of course, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching you in the next one, Nation.
Remember, brothers and sisters, to share, subscribe, spread the word of the nation to others. And, of course, if you like watching the videos, watching them is always much appreciated. Have a nice day.